Well, tonight, Jerry Sloan celebrated his 20th anniversary as the Jazz head coach. He's the longest tenured active coach in all of major professional sports, marks the longest stint with one team in NBA history. Steve Brown takes a look back at Coach Jerry Sloan and his journey with the Jazz, which has become really legendary because he's already been with one team this entire time.
The new head coach, Jerry Sloan. He gets a rousing ovation.
Who knew? What began so long ago in the Salt Palace would lead to a rewriting of the sports record books. Frank Layden felt he had done all he could and handed the reins to his young assistant coach.
He was ready. There was no doubt about it, and I think it would have been a shame. If I had stayed on any longer, I think we would have lost him. You know, some other team would have picked him up because he was starting to get a reputation.
Jerry Sloan's background made him the logical choice to be Layden's successor. What he was as a player and who he is as a person produced absolute coaching symmetry.
But he was really an overachiever as a player, and so I think he relates to players very well on that level.
He played the game, and I always had a respect for him because he knew what he was talking about. You know, a lot of these guys now, I don't know.
There's much more than that, though. Sloan is not only the longest tenured coach in all U.S. professional sports, no one in the history of the NBA has headed one team as long as Jerry. And 223 coaches have been replaced since Sloan was named Jazz head man. Fellow coaches know the numbers, and maybe no one is more impressed than his peers.
He embodies, I think, all the qualities of integrity, you know, character, toughness, leadership.
Part of my reasoning for coming to the Blazers was to have that opportunity to hopefully build something like that, to be with an organization, to kind of copy, you know, the way Coach Sloan has ran his team and that organization.
You don't spend 20 years in one job without the support of the higher-ups. In pro sports, that's ownership. And that's certainly the exception rather than the rule.
The consistency of Larry Miller, you know, it wasn't always smooth. There certainly was some bumps along the road, but Jerry handled it well, and Larry Miller handled it well, and he stuck with Jerry during the tough times, and he maintained keeping him during the good times.
And there have been more good times than bad. Through it all, Sloan remained the pillar of consistency.
He's real. You know, there's no BSing with Coach Sloan.
Stay within yourself and not try to do something you can't do, and to know that never to get too high and too low.
So the numbers continue to mount, and announcers will continue to introduce Sloan as the rarity he is.
Jerry Sloan, 21st season as the head coach of the Jazz.
Jerry's reaction?
Not anything personal. There's never been anything personal to me about it. I didn't realize that was happening for a long time.
What reaction would you expect from Mr. Consistency?
Thanks, Steve. Coming up next on Powerhouse, Cougars and Utes.